Have you ever witnessed something so unfair it stuck with you for life? A moment when you knew the world wasn't as just as it claimed to be? That's exactly what Harper Lee's classic To Kill a Mockingbird explores. Through the eyes of a child, it reveals the deep cracks in society's idea of justice, fairness, and morality. This isn't just a story about race or the legal system. It's about courage, conscience, and what it means to grow up in a complicated world. Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird was published in 1960 and quickly became a literary sensation. Drawing from her own experiences growing up in Alabama during the Great Depression, Lee weaves a fictional, yet painfully real narrative. It won the Pulitzer Prize and has become required reading around the world for its powerful message and unforgettable characters. The story takes place in the fictional town of Maycole, Alabama, and centers around young Scout Finch, her brother Jem, and their father Atticus, a principled lawyer who takes on the defense of a black man accused of a terrible crime. This book matters because it forces us to confront the uncomfortable truths of prejudice, injustice, and the quiet strength it takes to do the right thing. At its heart, To Kill a Mockingbird is about seeing the world through someone else's eyes and standing up for what's right, even when it's not easy. It reminds us that real courage isn't a lack of fear, but acting in spite of it. One of the most powerful ideas in the book is the concept of moral courage. Atticus Finch tells his children that courage isn't a man with a gun, it's knowing you're going to lose before you even begin and still doing it anyway. He lives by that definition when he defends Tom Robinson, a black man wrongly accused of assaulting a white woman. Despite knowing that the jury is unlikely to deliver justice, Atticus gives it everything he's got. It's not about winning, it's about standing for the truth. Think about your own life. Have you ever faced a situation where you knew the odds were against you, but you did the right thing anyway? That's moral courage, and it's something we can all practice in our own way, whether it's standing up to peer pressure or speaking out against something wrong at work or school. Another key lesson is how prejudice shapes the way people treat each other and how dangerous that can be. The town of Maycomb is soaked in racism, so much so that the facts of Tom Robinson's case don't matter to most people. They've already made up their minds because of the color of his skin. Scout and Jem watch in disbelief as the truth is ignored in court. And it's not just racial prejudice. There's also classism, sexism, and judgment against people like Boo Radley, the mysterious neighbor who becomes the target of town gossip. These moments show how quick people are to judge what they don't understand. The takeaway? When we rely on assumptions instead of empathy, we often get it wrong. Next time you catch yourself jumping to conclusions about someone, pause and ask, what don't I know about their story? Childhood innocence is another major theme in the book, and we see it most through Scout. She starts the story believing the world is mostly good. As the events unfold, especially the trial and the town's reaction to it, her worldview begins to crack. But that loss of innocence doesn't make her bitter. It makes her more aware, more compassionate, and more determined to understand people. Harper Lee shows us that growing up doesn't mean becoming cynical. It means learning how to see the world clearly and still choosing kindness. For anyone raising kids or trying to stay hopeful in a complicated world, this message is a powerful reminder. Innocence isn't weakness. It's a form of strength when paired with awareness. Let's also talk about empathy. One of Atticus's most famous lessons is this. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it. That's not just a line from the book, it's a life philosophy. Scout struggles with this at first, especially when dealing with people who seem cruel or confusing. But by the end, she begins to see people differently. Even Boo Radley, who once terrified her, becomes a figure of deep compassion. This shift shows the power of empathy to change how we relate to the world. What would happen if we all made an effort to understand those we disagree with, or offered kindness instead of judgment? That's one of the lasting questions the book leaves us with. Finally, To Kill a Mockingbird reminds us that change starts with individuals. Maycomb doesn't change overnight. The verdict is unjust. Tom Robinson's fate is heartbreaking. But Scout, Jem, and even a few members of the town begin to shift. Atticus, in his quiet, unwavering way, plants seeds that may take years to grow, but they matter. Change, as the book suggests, doesn't always happen in grand gestures. Sometimes it begins with one person choosing to act with integrity, one parent teaching their kids the right values, one child choosing to understand instead of hate. That's how a new kind of world begins. So, what are the key takeaways? First, moral courage means doing the right thing even when the outcome is uncertain. Second, prejudice is deeply harmful and we need to challenge it actively. Third, empathy can transform the way we see and treat others. Fourth, innocence doesn't need to be lost. It can evolve into wisdom. And finally, change starts small, with individuals who dare to care. If you've never read To Kill a Mockingbird, this is your sign to pick it up. It's more than a novel. It's a mirror held up to society and to ourselves. It's a story that stays with you, challenges you, and teaches you. If you enjoyed this summary, consider exploring other powerful classics like The Diary of Anne Frank or The Color Purple. And if this story made you think, share your thoughts in the comments or tell someone about the lesson that hit home for you. Let's keep the conversation going because some stories are too important to forget.